Welcome to Wake Up Wednesday. This is Regina Clark. I'm so excited to be here. I mean that. I don't know who watches, who's listening, but I listen, I watch, I know, and I love sharing my experiences and I get so excited. I was listening to something yesterday and I was reminded of this book right here. So I pulled it out. So thankful I have books in my library. Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. She's the one that she is the author of Eat, Pray, Love. And she is Liz in the story that Julia Roberts plays. So, anyway, this book is called Creative Living Beyond Fear. And I just thought how easy it is for fear to get in the way. And so I wanted to share a couple of things with you this morning. This is from the beginning of the book, page 8, Creative Living Defined. Do you have the courage to bring forth the treasures that are hidden within you? Look, I don't know what's hidden within you. I have no way of knowing such a thing. You yourself may barely know, although I suspect you have glimpses. I don't know your capacities, your aspirations, your longings, your secret talents, but surely something wonderful is sheltered inside you. I say this with all confidence because I happen to believe we are all walking repositories of buried treasure. I believe this is one of the oldest and most generous tricks the universe plays on us human beings, both for its own amusement and for ours. The universe buries strange jewels deep within us all and then stands back to see if we can find them. The hunt to uncover those jewels, that's creative living. The courage to go on that hunt in the first place, that's what separates a mundane existence from a more enchanted one. The often surprising results of that hunt, that's what I call big magic. I'm talking about living a life that is driven more by curiosity than by fear. And she goes on, this is the part leading up to what I actually remembered that there was this list in the book, and that's what I wanted to revisit. So she says, a creative life is an amplified life. It's a bigger life, a happier life, an expanded life, and a hell of a lot more interesting life. Living in this manner continually and stubbornly bringing forth the jewels that are hidden within you is a fine art in and of itself. Because creative living is where big magic will always abide. And then she goes on, scary, scary, scary. Now let's talk about courage. If you don't have the courage, let's try to get you some. Because creative living is a path for the brave. We all know this. We all know when courage dies, creativity dies with it. We all know that fear is a desolate boneyard where our dreams go to desiccate in the hot sun. Let me list for you some of the ways in which you might be afraid to live a more creative life. You're afraid you have no talent. You're afraid you'll be rejected or criticized or ridiculed or misunderstood, worst of all, ignored. You're afraid there's no market for your creativity and therefore no point in pursuing it. You're afraid somebody else already did it better. You're afraid everybody else already did it better. You're afraid somebody will steal your ideas, so it's safer to keep them hidden forever in the dark. You're afraid you won't be taken seriously. You're afraid your work isn't politically, emotionally, or artistically important enough to change anyone's life. You're afraid your dreams are embarrassing. You're afraid that someday you'll look back on your creative endeavors or having been a giant waste of time, effort, and money. You're afraid you don't have the right kind of discipline. You're afraid you don't have the right kind of workspace or financial freedom or empty hours in which to focus on invention or exploration. You're afraid you don't have the right kind of training or degree. You're afraid you're too fat. I don't know what this has to do with creativity exactly, but experience has taught me that most of us are afraid we're too fat. So let's just put that on the anxiety list for good measure. You're afraid of being exposed as a hack, a fool, or a dilettante, or a narcissist. You're afraid of upsetting your family with what you may reveal. You're afraid of what your peers and coworkers will say if you express your personal truth out loud. You're afraid of unleashing your innermost demons, and you really don't want to encounter your innermost demons. You're afraid your best work is behind you. You're afraid you never had any best work to begin with. You're afraid you neglected your creativity for so long that now you can never get it back. You're afraid you're too old to start. You're afraid you're too young to start. You're afraid because something went well in your life once, so obviously nothing can ever go well again. You're afraid because nothing has ever gone well in your life. Well, why bother trying? You're afraid of being a one-hit wonder. You're afraid of being a no-hit wonder. Listen, I don't have all day here, so I'm not going to keep listing fears. It's a bottomless list, anyhow, and a depressing one. I'll just wrap up my summary this way: scary, scary, scary. Everything is so gosh darn scary. And of course, I can't just keep reading you the book, but she goes on to help you see and understand that it's worth the endeavor, it's worth the pursuit, it's worth risking all those things. And I can say that probably 90% of those things on the list I think about, or I've experienced, or have crossed my mind, or I've bought into. And I'm just done. I'm tired of living in fear. Right? It doesn't get me anywhere. And so living a life of creativity, of positivity, of bravery, of coming on here, of showing up, of being liked or not liked. We all have things that we're figuring out in our lives. And I wanted to read to you now something, and I'm just sharing from my real life. Like, I didn't write this so I could share it with you. I'm sharing it with you because I wrote it. And it was just a couple of days ago, and I just am in this space. And I think it's the months. I'm serious about this. People talk about these things, but all I know, my experience, is these months of faithfulness to the practices that I have found to be helpful for me. My visioning, my breathing, my heart math, my gratitude practice. I've added another one recently since I visited my daughter in Mexico that has to do with shaking and movement. And I believe I'm just shaking loose the old crap from my cells, and I'm making room for something bigger. So I've been emotional lately. I feel like the tears are again, it's a release of old energy and making room for something new. So this is what I had to say a couple of mornings ago. I am blessed. I refuse to settle or to give up. I am tenacious in my pursuit of a fulfilling life, one of pleasure, adventure, gratitude, peace, possibility, miracles, impact, beauty, and love. I don't need to suffer or pay a debt or struggle to have an amazing life. Now, again, this is going opposite of the fear list, and this is really what I do for myself. This is what do you say when you talk to yourself? Well, I'm looking to build myself up, to believe in myself. Okay, I continue. Today, I ask, I see, I believe in synchronicities, miracles, and possibilities. I say yes. Yes to transformation. Yes to deserving. Yes to magic. Yes to abundance in health, mental clarity, peace, joy, love, expansion, energy, and all good things that I don't even know yet or understand. I say yes to all the amazing people that are showing up in my life. I say yes to the information coming at the right time in the right way that I can hear and study and receive. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is my declaration of freedom. Today, I declare breakthroughs mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. I embrace what is and what's coming. I increase me. I expand the container that I am to hold more. All things are possible. I am a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in a human body. I say no to pain and suffering, guilt and shame, and I say yes to ease and flow and grace. I matter. My dreams matter. Life is what I allow it, and I am shattering old paradigms of limitation. And again, this is my second gratitude journal. I think I have my first one here when I started the practice back. Well, I got the book Remember Big Magic from my daughter for Christmas, the gratitude practice. So I started, I think, December 28th. And then this is my second book. And this one on the cover says, Be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. And so today I encourage you to scratch, put the big X on fear, step into possibility. If you could just hold the possibility of something bigger, something better, even when you don't understand it, and see what shows up for you today as you're expecting the magic, the miracles, the synchronicities, and the manifestations that you desire to have in your life. I'll see you next week on Wake Up Wednesday, where I think we're going to talk about paradigms. So I look forward to seeing you then.